Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Jennifer, and we are a middle aged couple with a Regal Unlimited subscription and a desperate fondness for movie theater popcorn.
And movies. We're big fans of movies.
Yeah, we see movies every once in a while.
And like most people, we like Steven Spielberg movies.
Mm hmm.
He's a very good director.
Mm hmm.
So we went and saw Disclosure Day,
Yes, we did.
which is the new Steven Spielberg movie. It is a follow. Well, I don't know if it's a follow up or not.
It is explicitly not a follow up to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, but come on now.
I guess we're going to mark this as containing spoilers, but literally everything that we can possibly spoil is in the trailer.
Yep.
And
which is the thing that annoys me.
You already know what this movie is about, right? This movie is literally about some people trying to release evidence of alien life on Earth to the public. And yeah, it's a lot of foo-for-all and then running around and stunts and things trying to get this evidence to a television station. The government is ridiculously inept at stopping them.
I mean, except they're not the government, is the thing, right? It's a private company that has all this information, and it's stolen from the private company.
Mm-hmm.
The private company tells the government, like, Max and chillax, we'll take care of it. And they spend the rest of the movie trying to take care of it, and they don't. Yeah. But the government is, like, never involved. And
the idea of this company, the reason why this company exists is that Richard Nixon almost released the evidence in 1973, and it was realized that because presidents are only in office for 8 years and then they become civilians again, that you can't control them because, like you would someone in the military. Whatever. So they've created this non-governmental body with its own funding, which who knows where that comes from. I guess they were selling alien technology.
Yeah. They're using alien technology and adapting it and selling that adapted technology.
The movie gives you as much about this as we just did.
Yes.
In fact, less.
Yeah.
But there's this secret company run by Colin Firth, and Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt are trying to get this information out. This secret company tries to murderize the both of them and fails utterly
until it decides to stop,
and then all of a sudden just decides to stop, and then they put the information on television and everybody in the world sees it. The end. And that's
that is literally movie. The end. Yeah,
this is like a 3-hour movie almost, right? No, 2.5.
2.5, because there are a half-hour of trailers. Yeah,
and that's the entire plot.
Yeah.
So there's some like hijinks, but there wasn't a lot to this.
No, and it I felt like the trailer gave a lot, and there's one dimension to the plot that the trailer doesn't give, and it's the least interesting in a way dimension to the plot, right? Like, so Josh O'Connor, you see from the beginning, has this information. He works for this company. He's stolen 75 little flash drives and like all this other stuff to prove the evidence, to share the evidence. And Emily Blunt is a television meteorologist, right? Mm-hmm. Who all of a sudden starts speaking the alien language, right? That you see in the commercial. Mm-hmm. And I guess maybe there's another commercial that gives you an idea that she all of a sudden starts speaking other human languages too and doesn't notice that she's doing any of it, right? And the only part of the plot that's not in the trailer is basically that both of them together were taken by aliens when they were kids. And they were, imbued with the ability, he got the ability to understand math as a language.
Which does not come up at any point in the movie.
Which, the one point where it's introduced, you were not in the bathroom for it. The idea is introduced there.
It's introduced, it never matters.
And then the only point it matters, well, it matters because then that's how he has the ability to be able to do all the work with the company. And then at the very end, that's how he can talk. He's the only one that can talk directly to the alien.
Sure. Sure.
So
Yeah.
he learns the language
He
of math.
understands alien language.
He understands math as human language, which is the language of the universe, which is the language of the alien.
That makes
And
no damn
then
sense.
she is imbued with the ability to empathize with and understand all humans.
Yes.
So he can talk to the alien, she can talk to the humans, and that's how the aliens can communicate with humans rather than being shot down and experimented on by the humans.
And you may have seen in the trailer, there's a bunch of stuff about the aliens looking like animals, like birds and deer and so on. And that's very much part of this movie. The explanation for that is that the aliens know that humans are trying to kill them, but not all humans. And so they approach the good humans in the shape of animals to just try to like communicate with them, but not very well.
I don't think that part is said in the movie, except like that all the animals that you see in the movie are aliens. But there's the one moment where where one of the kids is with animals, and those animals are definitely aliens.
Well, and then Josh O'Connor says at one point, they're not animals; they take the form of animals because to make us comfortable with them.
Right, but that's when he was talking to her about going back to her memory of being 10.
Right.
I don't think that's true of all the animals that we saw in the movie before that.
I thought that was when they saw the fox.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I might be remembering that wrong.
So the other thing about this is that alien technology is 100% magic.
Yes.
It can do whatever you want it to do.
Yes.
The plot decides what the alien technology can do.
And then when that's no longer necessary, it doesn't do that.
Yeah, it always works, but when it's no longer necessary, then the alien magic wands disintegrate. And sometimes they don't.
Yep.
And there are 3 alien magic wands. And whoever needs one happens to have one at the time.
Yep.
Colin Firth can use them to mind control people. Emily Blunt can use them to power a television station after its power substation is blown
Power
up.
a television station, make a building and everything in it invisible.
Yeah.
And 2 sets of moving vehicles invisible up to a certain point.
Sure. So, yeah, there's no explanation for how this technology does any of this. There's no mention of Close Encounters of the Third Kind in this movie, or of E.T. for that matter, which would have been so good. Anyway, but there is maybe one shot, because they show a lot of like archival footage of UFOs and aliens in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's possible that one shot is actually a shot from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Maybe there's also a brief shot of Devil's Tower.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And this movie came out exactly 49 years after Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Yeah.
49 years.
77 to 26.
Yeah, that's a bullshit number, but yeah, that's the right
It's
number.
49.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 79 years after the Roswell incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, go figure. Gosh, I mean, yeah, it's such classic Steven Spielberg stuff of just empathy and love are the biggest magic of all.
I guess my problem isn't that it's such Steven Spielberg stuff, is that it's basically the UFO conspiracy theorists' story about the world.
Very much so.
Just made into a movie. That's all it is, right? Yes, there were aliens at Roswell. They are big green guys. They're, gray guys with the big eyes. And they were there. And the U.S. government has been hiding it for years.
Right.
And, there's just a little fill-in about how that has been hidden. Because, of course, aliens only come to the United States. Where else would they go?
And some of the archival footage of UFOs is actually, it made me reminiscent, at least, of the footage that was shown to Congress last year.
Yeah.
And was utterly just worthless and debunked. But
but it's basically that as a story. What if that were real?
Yep.
Right? And that's it. But the what if that were real actually isn't the plot. The plot is just it's real. And
Yeah.
it just ends with like, here's the disclosure, right? Like the disclosure is happening in the middle of what's basically the start of World War III. You see that people are learning about the disclosure, the end.
The end.
Like, so yeah, it's not what would happen if this was real. Like, the only thing that would happen if this was real is that someone would reveal the information. Yay, we revealed the information. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, what comes next is not of interest to this movie, which
No.
is kind
Well,
of bonkers.
So lots of people in the movie want to talk about what comes next.
Yes.
But it's clear that because they all disagree, it's clear that Spielberg doesn't want to come down on one side or the other. Now, as a science fiction fan all my life, I've been hearing this for years, that the government couldn't possibly release all the alien information because then there would be panic in the streets and people would lose their cool and it would be civil unrest.
But the first thing that this movie says that people would lose is their belief in God. Said by an ex-novitiate who has left the
nunnery.
The cloister.
But then the Mother Superior of that same nunnery is like, nah, it's all good. God made aliens too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. It's like, at one point, somebody starts worshiping the aliens. Like, just gets down on her knees and, like, makes the sign of the cross in front of Emily Blunt. And Emily Blunt is like, oh, no, I will not be anybody's religion.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie is clearly intending to say, yes, you will.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of what's going to happen here. I don't buy any of it. I don't buy the panic thing. I don't think the government believes there would be panic in the streets if they release the information about aliens. I think you would have a very dry, boring press conference, and then some people would be like, oh my God, this is amazing, and they would lose their cool, but a lot of people would just be like, whatever, what's on Channel 2? I mean...
You know, I'm sorry to bring up the, like, living through COVID thing, but that tells me something fucking weird would happen.
Okay.
We have, in the last 6 years, found a way to blow up our own world. And a not insignificant cause, like destabilizing factor that makes blowing shit up seem like it makes sense was that.
Sure.
There are other things, like that is not the sole cause of where we are as a species at the moment, but it is a very real factor. And that's a disease that, didn't impact, literally not everyone got. Like, it's not possible that everyone got it. And the large number of people who got it survived it. And we already believe in the existence of disease. Even if we disagree about where they come from, we understand, all humans understand that diseases exist. And most of us have something close to the same explanation for why. So you throw aliens into the mix? Like, no, nothing normal would happen on this planet the rest of anyone who was alive at that time's lifetime. Shit would get weird. Now, whether that turns into violence and people running around in the street and people hoarding gasoline, like, I don't think it's anything that predictable.
I think people would do all kinds of things.
Something whack would happen.
I think people would do all kinds of things, but I don't think everybody would en masse just riot in the streets.
That's literally what I just said. Yep.
But right, I'm agreeing with you, but on the same time I'm saying, like, I don't think it would be... It's not like this simplistic narrative of just panic. So, yeah, the movie doesn't want to have a real thought about religion. It just wants to say religion might be part of this. The movie doesn't want to come down on any side. It doesn't really want to say anything for reals. Because we know that most likely that there is no Roswell crash evidence. There's no Nixon tapes of him showing Buddy Hackett, or was it
Jackie Gleason, I think it's who it's supposed to be.
Alien bodies. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. But, yeah, Spielberg really wanted to make this movie. I'm not entirely sure why.
I don't really see a huge compelling need for this film. Like, it feels dated. It feels dated. It sounds dated. It has this John Williams score used in the way a John Williams score would have been used in a movie in the 70s or 80s, maybe early 90s. people don't use scores in movies quite this way anymore. Like, you know, not everyone uses pop music as the score of the movie, but where there's a score written for a movie, it's not nearly so upbeat in so many places, even when what's going on isn't upbeat and isn't so overly present. You know, like the score in a modern movie is supposed to make you feel a particular way. It's supposed to encourage you to feel in a particular way in concert with the film. And this score didn't do that. It felt dated. It felt, yeah, and maybe I might have felt different if I had seen a 30-second trailer for this movie rather than seen a series of different trailers that showed literally the entire movie. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, oh, okay, so that's, you know, oh, they just cleverly put those two pieces together in the trailer, but, you know, and they're not directly sequential in the movie, but they're sequential in the movie. Like, they're just not literally the direct sequential shot. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't like that about
Yep.
modern trailers. You know, it's like nobody wants to go to a movie unless they know exactly what's going to happen in the movie. And I'm kind of like, why go?
Yeah.
Like,
I will say, okay, so the cinematography in this is really good.
yes.
Because it's Steven Spielberg directing it. And I forget who the cinematographer was, but it was somebody
It's one of
famous.
his long-term cinematographers, yeah.
The sound design is great. The actors are all good.
The actors are all good. Emily Blunt has a much bigger role in this movie than I realized. Like, she is very much the star of the
center of the
movie
whole
and the
thing,
center
yeah.
of the whole thing.
Her and
she
Josh
does,
O'Connor.
but her. Like,
Yeah.
I thought at the beginning of the movie it was the two of them, and by the end of the movie it's her.
Yeah.
And she does a really, really good job. Josh O'Connor also does a fine job. I just don't feel like he has to exhibit a whole lot of range of stuff.
Just
where
scared.
he's either scared or like, do this, I need you to do this, you know.
There are a couple of really good stunt sequences, mostly driving sequences. Although that's not the point of this film.
Yeah.
It's not an action film. I think that in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, there's a sense of awe that for Richard Dreyfuss and Terry Garr and the actress who plays the other woman, I can't remember her name, they are truly experiencing something beyond normal human comprehension and living with it in a way that is not just fearful, but is actually awe-inspiring, right? And so this movie is constantly trying to evoke that same sense. Emily Blunt, whenever she sees a bird, her hair starts blowing in the wind. It's kind of silly, actually. The biggest problem with the film, I think, though, is the script. I think it is very ham-handed. There's a lot of like technical lingo thrown into this movie for no reason. There's a lot of people explaining things to each other in these hushed, odd voices when it turns out that what they're explaining is quite obvious to everybody. Colin Firth is great. But
Colin Firth is great. But he's the bad guy, right? So he has baddie things to do. But the Eve Hewison's dialogue as like Jane, the novitiate who's left the cloister and ends up as Josh O'Connor's girlfriend. And he doesn't know that, she's an ex-novitiate initially. She has a whole bunch of dialogue that's about like religion, right? Like, and it just doesn't sound like speech. It sounds like someone giving a speech rather than someone talking. And it just, sometimes it does, but like some of her very early lines about that issue just don't sound very natural.
So I will say I liked this movie a lot more than you did.
Yeah, I felt like it's not a bad movie, but it's like it's not new, right? Like it's I've both seen this before and I've heard this story before, right?
Mhm.
Like about the UFO kind of story. And it, okay. I feel like what might be new is some like really interesting exploration of what happens once you know.
Yeah, if this
And
were
that's not what this movie is about.
a direct sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, because it really does feel like a sequel to Close Encounters, but it won't ever say those words out loud. And in fact, that's kind of a theme in the movie is they don't say the word extraterrestrial until like the last 20 minutes of the movie. And then they're off to the races. But they hide a lot of stuff under a bushel, even when you know it's coming, even when you know what this movie is really all about.
Yep.
Now, I will say I liked it a lot more than you did. I think that is partly because Close Encounters was such a formative movie for me.
And I only saw it for the first time a few years ago, so.
But it's such a good movie.
It is, but it's also really good also because you haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
Right? And so, like, with anything that kind of sets a genre, like, and creates a vocabulary for that genre, doing something in that genre years later has to either take it in a new direction or do an amazing version of the beats of the genre. And I don't think this did either.
Right. Yeah, it was not my favorite movie of the year, I think, but I did enjoy it. I think partly because it does have a second act. This is something I'm noticing now in a lot of modern movies, that there's just no second act, that it's a whole bunch of setup for just a little bit of payoff and nothing else in between. This movie was all set up and no payoff, basically, but it actually kind of works that way. Steven Spielberg is a hell of a director. He always will be. And I think that, that shows through here. Like, such a slight movie with so little to say, he makes it feel big and important and grand and full of people, even though there's only four main characters. And the man's good. He really is good. So I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think you were disappointed.
Yeah, I think that really is what it is. Like, the first commercial that didn't show very much, I'm like, oh, that's really interesting, right? Like, okay, yeah, Disclosure Day, it's probably disclosing aliens or something like that, and it's like, oh, okay, then I see the later trailers, it's disclosing that they're aliens. I'm figuring there is something else.
Yeah.
Nope.
We thought there was going to be a twist. There is no twist. Okay. That's what we need to say about Disclosure Day, right?
Coleman Domingo
Anything
was
else?
good.
Coleman Domingo was always good.
I always like when that man gets work.
Yeah, but they gave him such bad dialogue to work with.
Yep. But,
He's got the worst of it because he's the big prophet of this new alien religion, basically. And he, just endless speeches about empathy and people's right to know the truth.
So he's Morpheus, right? He's Morpheus, and he's looking for Neo and Neoette, right?
You brought up the racial politics of this film as we were walking out of the theater, and I think it's very true. The politics of this movie, unfortunately, are American white boomer politics, and that's just the way it's going to go. Down to the point that the boy gets the math skills and the girl gets the empathy skills. Okay, so it's not a flawless movie by any means, but I think most people are going to enjoy it somewhat. Wow, that's a real endorsement right there. Okay, let's stop talking about this movie.
All right.
Until next time.
Bye.